So I think you have to be really careful about who you imbibe. Jordan Peterson is another one. Years ago, a student asked me, hey, have you heard of this guy? No. You should watch some videos that are all like 2 hours long, on a stage. I could only handle about 30 minutes. And I thought, what's the big deal with this guy? Like, he's saying things that seem pretty obvious to me at that point, but he's a really good public intellectual. I think what's interesting about Jordan Peterson, unlike, and again, I don't, maybe I watched 30 Dan McClown videos, so maybe I'm not capturing him correctly. And Dan, if you're watching this, you can correct me. But Jordan Peterson definitely presents things in a more curious way. Like, I thought this, and then I looked into that a little bit, and I found out that he kind of tells the story of how he figured things out, which I think is really helpful. And, it's clear he got challenged the other day, or I saw a video the other day where he gets challenged about how the Bible is just a bunch of made-up gobbledygook. And he just turned around and challenged this person who I assume was some atheist, maybe it's Sam Harris, maybe one of these famous, debating atheists. He just says, I challenge you to write a story with as much meaning and impact as the 10 sentences that constitute the Cain and Abel story. Which told me that he actually has looked carefully at these stories and realizes that the literary aspects of those stories are very powerful, and they do a ton of work at the intellectual world level, at the conceptual. So you want to say, like, there actually is some deep appreciation of Hebraic thought going on in Jordan Peterson's curiosity. And he expresses it in very interesting ways. And so I want to commend that. Now, I also got asked to review his Bible videos where he has a bunch of people sitting around the table talking about the Bible. I got asked by several different outputs, like, hey, would you like to write a review on these? And they sent me the codes, and I watched, and I just couldn't, because there was so much projecting going on of their own thoughts. The text just became a mirror for them, to basically say what they thought was going on. And it was really problematic. So maybe Jordan Peterson those were older videos, and maybe he's progressed past that. I don't know. But I would say Jordan Peterson is someone who I think would be a great person to listen to, in his sense of curiosity and his sense of, like, development. I used to think this, but I paid more attention and I realized something more was going on. But certainly I would not listen to Jordan Peterson for final thoughts on what's going on in Scripture, for several reasons, nothing to do with him or his expertise. It's just, he doesn't believe this is historical, and he doesn't seem to understand how all of Scripture works together, which, is fine. It's not what he does for a living.
Well, so what I'm learning that we really need to do is have a podcast episode with Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
And so if any of our community members happen to know or are connected with Jordan Peterson.
Well, I know I have friends who are friends with him. I have mutuals, as they call it.
Then maybe we make that happen.
Yeah. And he's just the kind of guy that, he might show up. So maybe we do get Jordan Peterson. I got a couple people right now working on, these big people. And again, because I think they do have interesting thoughts, and I'm more interested in methodology, obviously. It's how you approach the text and what kind of credentials you give to the biblical authors before you read a word of what they said. And that's a big thing for us.